Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be looking at this modified Land Cruiser. I wanted to take a look at this particular build because it's got some interesting parts on it that I just want to test out for you guys. Before we get into this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Aurum Toyota for giving me some time with this Land Cruiser. I'll include a link to their website in the description down below. Also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. Let's go over the details of this particular Land Cruiser build. This is built off of a 1958, so yes, it does have all the plasticky stuff up front, but still got the cool circular headlights. Now you'll notice that this has upgraded tires and wheels. This has the Tier D wheels added to it. We've got 33-inch tall tires. This has a 2-inch suspension lift as well. You guys can see the setup here in the rear. And so it definitely gives this a much higher ride, taller stance. Now you don't need to lift this to fit the tires that this has on it, but the lift does make it look a little bit cooler. Now this has, I think it's pronounced Priznu. No, actually no, it's not how it's pronounced. Prinzu. There's a Prinzu roof rack. I've never experienced that roof rack before, so I'm interested to see how that kind of performs when it comes to noise and everything. And then they added the little heritage stripes on it, which I think is kind of a cool addition. I will say the roof rack has a lot of real estate. I could see that as a huge benefit, right? So you can fit more stuff up top. And then the last thing this one has is a custom leather interior. So you got these nice leather seats, the diamond stitching, high quality feeling. If you guys don't remember, the 1958 still has a center and rear diff lock. You still have crawl control as well, and heated seats and a heated steering wheel. So it's still got quite a few nice features. But anyways, here's the build sheet on this. So you can see the base price before the options have been added to it, and then you've got all the options. Prinzu, I think that's how you pronounce that. $66,790 is the total MSRP. We'll throw that on the dash. And I should say MSRP plus the aftermarket accessories. Let's see how this thing performs. Well, let us, oh, people walking around me. Let us set off in the 250. I'm most interested to see how this roof rack is, because the reason being, if you actually look at a lot of builds, like Lexus, for example, they actually offer this as an accessory, this Prinzu roof rack. So I'm just interested to see the wind noise, because on my 250 Land Cruiser, the roof rack that it has from the factory has like no wind noise. It's actually really nice. So I'm wondering if this will be the same or if it'll create quite a bit of turbulence, because the thing to note is my roof rack is like halfway back on the roof. This is all the way forward. Again, more space, so more practicality that way, but could be wind noise. Now, this doesn't really feel too different from stock in terms of the overall ride. You definitely feel like you've got to get into the throttle a little bit more to get the Land Cruiser up and moving. So there is a difference right off the bat with that. I'd say generally speaking, the torque though is good with these tires. These aren't enormous. They're the exact rating on these is 285 by 65 by 18. So I'm pretty sure that's technically a 33, because yeah, 275 by 70 by 18 is a 33. So if it's a little bit wider than the sidewall, yeah, it's probably still technically a 33. Or maybe it's like a 32.7, I don't know. But my Land Cruiser is on stock suspension and I've got 33s on it, so I know you can fit those in stock. You don't even have to lift it, but the lift definitely adds to the looks. And man, I feel like I've seen so many builds with these 1958s because everyone wants the mid trims. The 1958 is not all that popular with Land Cruiser here in the US, and so dealers are doing whatever they can to spruce them up to make them exciting enough to get people to buy them. I think it's cool. I think it's interesting though for me to see. I'll say the braking feels a little bit different than mine, but not too much different. And I'm wondering if that's just the tires that this has. I noticed that this new Land Cruiser is affected by wider tires more so than pretty much any other vehicle I've experienced, where it really it affects the fuel economy, but it also just affects the drive. And so the stock tires are 265 wide, these are 285, so it's a pretty decent difference. Yeah, we'll see. The torque is nice, and these seats are comfortable. I think it's funny that the dealers are swapping the seats, because my personal take on the 1958 is I would paint the sections of the lower front fascia before I put leather seats in it, because I think that's what would be more appealing to people. Just my kind of 2 cents on that. RIP another farm. RIP another farm. For more industrial, because that's what we need in Utah. We don't need farms, we just need industrial. I bet this stuff will disappear in no time at the rate things are going, sadly. Okay, I am getting some wind noise. It's not obnoxious, but I can definitely tell it's the rack and it's not the front windshield. It's not terrible though, but I'll get up to higher speeds just to see kind of how that is. But one benefit of this new Land Cruiser is it's pretty well insulated. So with the insulation that this has, that kind of helps mitigate some of the noise that you'd get. Oh yeah, you definitely hear quite a bit of wind noise with this roof rack. And it's not just a little bit. It's not enough to where I would say that it's a complete deal breaker, but it is enough to where I'm like, yeah, that's kind of annoying. That is kind of annoying. Not horrible though. Could definitely be worse. By the way, this here right here, as you guys can see, is basically swamp. Some of it they've been able to turn to farmland, but just you wait, they'll put some more houses on the swamp, because that's what we need here in Utah, houses in the swamp. So interesting. Yeah, I think this build drives pretty well. Oof, definitely drives truck like. That's one thing that some people might find they like with this new Land Cruiser compared to like the GX that a lot of people compare it to, is it feels very truck-like. I still haven't had a chance to drive the new 4Runner quite yet. Soon. 4Runner should be arriving any week now here in Utah. We usually get cars later compared to other states because we're kind of out in the middle of the country, and it takes longer to get stuff transported here from the ports. So should happen sometime soon, but yeah, Land Cruiser still feels pretty truck-like. This really, I mean, and the torque's really good. Yeah, this really isn't like terrible with the noise. I think if you had the radio on, it wouldn't be so obnoxious. Like here at 40 miles an hour, pretty minimal. I think it's once you get above that 50 mark that it'll be more substantial. But again, it's still not so much to where you're like, ah, stop this. It's not too bad. I feel like I've got just as much, I would say probably just as much wind noise with my 200 series with the roof no, that's quieter. I was gonna say the 200 series with the roof basket, but overall that's a little bit quieter. So a little bit of a difference. But let me guys think about this Land Cruiser build, and let me know what you guys think about the Land Cruiser lineup now that the 4Runner is almost here, because I mean, it's kind of an interesting predicament where a TRD off-road 4Runner with cloth interior, dang it, Anyways, a TRD off-road 4Runner with a cloth interior is going to be just a little bit less expensive. Well, if you add, so TRD off-road 4Runner, cloth interior hybrid is going to be like the same price as this 1958. So which one do you go for? I mean, obviously I'll get some comparisons for you guys, but I think that's going to be so interesting once those 4Runners hit the ground with these, compare with these Land Cruisers. But let me know your thoughts.